Welcome everyone to today's presentation, Business Acumen for the Quality Profession. I'm Mike Richmond, your host for Exemplar Global's online expo focused on career pathways. This session is presented by Ray Chowdhury, CEO of the KPI System LLC and an Exemplar Global Certified Lead Auditor in multiple disciplines. He also holds certifications from ASQ, including as a Six Sigma Black Belt. In this session, Ray will use his extensive experience to help you boost your fluency to reposition quality as a strategic asset. You'll learn how to elevate your voice, earn executive trust, and reshape how quality is perceived across the organization. So Ray, thanks for joining us here at the Expo.
Mike, I appreciate the opportunity. Let's get started.
Of course.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a dialogue on the career pathways for the quality auditor. I plan on sharing several of my experiences and also results from interviews that I've done over the years. These interviews have been conducted not just by me, but also my assistants, my staff, and whatever I present to you is authentically coming from those sources. Wherever I have used other sources, they have been cited on the respective pages. So you will see those citations as we go along. So join me as we start exploring what lies in the future, where are we today, and where the quality auditor profession is going over the next few years. There are lots of changes coming up. So we will kind of look at all of them and then see what you can do as a quality auditor. I am a quality auditor myself, so I know how it is going to impact us, and I have a good feel for what needs to be done because I am in it and I'm doing it right now. So everything I'm presenting to you also is based on the work we are doing in terms of dealing with the changes that are coming down our way as we go. So we are going to start off taking a look at the state of the auditor's profession now. We will use that and then leverage ourselves into understanding the voice of the stakeholders. The voice of the stakeholders are also changing, and I'll share with you what their perspectives are. That is very important to understand. As quality professionals, if we don't understand the voice of the customer or the voice of the stakeholder, we are making a big mistake. So it is important to pay attention to that. After that, we will take a look at what are the cataclysmic changes coming our way. There are three major changes. Some of them are here, some of them are on the way as we speak. So I'll describe those to you. But just describing the problem doesn't help, or just describing the challenge is of no use if we don't delve into how are we going to deal with it. And whatever I share with you in those 12 essentials, almost all of them is what we are doing also. So it is coming to you from first-hand experience, which is very, very recent. Then I will start discussing with you what conversations we need to have with business leaders. There is an important aspect to that. Like it or not, the quality profession doesn't get a whole lot of press coverage when it comes to senior business leadership. So it is important for us to understand what kinds of conversations we need to be doing with those leaders. What is the language that we need to use? I'll talk about that briefly. Then we will get into the closing comments and the acknowledgements. Several other people also participated in giving me input, so I'll share with you who those people are and what their key inputs were. Finally, if you have questions to ask, you can feel free to use any of the links provided in the presentation or work with Exemplar Global to get those questions to me, and we'll be glad to answer those. Don't hesitate. Feel free to write to us or call us or whatever. So where are we today? What is the state of the profession right now? Let me start off with the three positives that I see. The three positives are standards are continuing to be created and updated. What that means is more productive work for us, which is great. If there are new standards coming, if there are new standards being updated, old standards being updated, revised or whatever, ISO 13485 is about to be updated. ISO 9001 is in the process of being updated. So those are good opportunities. And that means that we will continue to have a reasonable amount of business as we go forward. Technology is making inroads, which is a good thing. AI, as you all know, is knocking our doors. Some people are using it. We have started using it. I'll share some of those things with you. And then some of the regulations, particularly the 21 CFR 820 in the medical device field, some of those regulations are actually merging with standards in different ways. So the FDA is now adopting the QMSR, and that is a merger between 21 CFR 820 and ISO 13485. So that is also good because that, in a way, it simplifies life and also creates new opportunities for us to be of service to our companies, our customers, and also the people that work with us. So that is on the plus side, which means there is good opportunities that are bubbling up, and we should take advantage of it. On the downside, the biggest issue when it comes to executive leadership is that they have only low to moderate opinions about the quality auditing profession in general. I'll talk more about that a little later. AI, while it is an opportunity, it is a massive challenge. See, the work we had to do to finish an audit used to take 3, 4 days, sometimes 5 days, depending on the nature of the audit and the extent to which we dig into a company's document structure and the operations and so on. That is beginning to shrink. It went to half of that, and now it is actually headed towards one third of it. Why? Because we are learning to adopt AI and integrate AI with the audits. It is not as easy as it sounds. Please be very careful if you use Copilot or ChatGPT and put in prompts in there and you get the answer and you use it in the audit report or in other places. Be very careful. The answers can be way off. The AI engines, they massage what you put in and then it spits out whatever has been programmed into it and whatever it is pulling out from the web. Not only that, I don't think the risk of data leaks is high, but you always need to have your guard up. So be very careful when you use AI. We are using it, but we are using it in a very guarded manner. And we have what is called as a captive AI. So captive AI, you can keep it within your company, but the other general AI, you can never tell where things are going. Finally, but very important, but not, and overlooked by many people, auditor incomes have lagged. They have lagged inflation, which means that cannot keep up with the inflation at all. Expenses keep going up, but our incomes have lagged. And I know it because we look at the pricing, we look at what we pay auditors and whatnot. So here is what has happened. The average salary, this comes to you from salary.com. The average salary of the QA auditor is just about $76,000 a year, out of which around 30%, 25-30% will be taken out for various reasons. Taxes, you got some other payments, you got insurance, you got this, that, and the other. So you will end up with roughly about somewhere between 50-55,000 at the most. And the cost of a single person living average, again, is about $30,000. That comes to you from livingcost.org. If you have a family of four, forget a family of four. If you have a family of two, even then it starts to become difficult. Forget about family of three and family of four. So that is not a sustainable situation. And no wonder when I talk to many college interns or when we are on college campus recruiting people for me or for our staff or for our client companies, there is hardly any student that say, oh yeah, I want to make a career in quality. So we are at a very major turning point. And there are various reasons for that. Anyway, so in the last 10 years, our bills have gone up about 28%. Our incomes have gone up only about 19%. These are broad averages. There are regional to regional differences. And of course, your experience and your expertise is going to matter. But these are the numbers at a high level. And on top of that, there is a lot of change coming our way. So it is time to pivot and it is time to take a look at our profession and chart out the career path forward. As we do that, it is important to understand what do the stakeholders think about the audit profession. Here are the brutal facts. I don't sugarcoat stuff. I'm presenting to you exactly what I have heard, what I have experienced when I have run my own companies. So this is a blend of what people have told me, what I have experienced, and what the quality auditors themselves in some cases have told me this. So here we go. These people are a brake on new product development. That came from a product development leader. I have experienced that myself, not once, but several times. And I used to wonder, why do the quality auditors become like this? And it's a long dialogue. I won't go into the details of that, but that is a fact that these are statements that came from product development leaders. Another guy who was from General Motors, actually, ex-auto industry leader, very high position in General Motors. He used to work with me. He was my colleague at a company where I worked. He used to tell me that at many of these auto companies, the quality department is the department of the failed engineers. The engineers who could not succeed in other places were sent to the quality department. Oh my gosh, what a statement to make! What a statement to hear! I was devastated when I heard that. It was terrible. But that was his experience, and he told me brutally honestly. Nitpicking for no real reason. I have suffered through this. There were auditors who audited my company. The last company I started was a medical device company. I've been an entrepreneur most of my life, started and sold several companies. Nitpicking for no substantial reason. So we had to go to the notified body and tell them, do not send this auditor next time. Instead of helping us improve and getting us into a better situation, they are out there trying to find the smallest thing and ding us on that. Doesn't make sense at all. Then several people think that the auditors are policemen. It doesn't help. Some of the professionals who are in the lean side of the business, they say that we do not add value. Why? Because we do not change the form, fit, or function of a product. All we do is either we are pen pushers or paper pushers, and we hold things up. We do not touch the product. We don't make any modifications. We don't design the product. We don't build the product. All we do is look at the product. This is good. This is bad. This, that, and the other. So they're non-value added, according to them. Several executives have told me, CFOs in particular, and of course CEOs also, it is one of the most important professions in their company. But compared to sales and marketing and product design and whatnot, they come at the bottom of the list. Why? Because they cannot deliver proactive impact. It is mostly reactionary. And again, on top of that, they don't add value to the product. They don't know how to deal with customers. And suppliers, and when you are a supplier, as a quality person, as a quality professional, our ability to deal with the customer and help the company win customers is extremely important. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. So what are the three major things that are coming our way? AI is about to automate much of knowledge work. And that knowledge work is what quality auditors and many quality professionals do. So a large part of our work is set to become automated. Like it or not, it is going to happen. I am in the middle of it. Instead of fighting the wave, I'm saying, let me find out how I can take advantage of these technologies and start using it to our advantage. So we are actually automating our own work. And what that will do is that will create additional spare time in which we can write books and do other things. There are many other activities that we can engage in. AI is going to actually help us get more time to do other things. Low-cost professionals are beginning to bone up. As I train people over in Asia, I see their capabilities are beginning to mushroom, absolutely mushroom. And we are getting to the point very fast where we can start having auditors and other quality professionals at 1/3 to 1/4 the cost that we pay here. See, remote work is facilitating a lot of this because they can sit there in their home country and be as proficient as many people in the West are, and then conduct the same type of work remotely. It is not here in full force yet, but I see that bubble growing. So that is coming our way. And of course, business leaders do not see a whole lot of value that we bring to the table. So those, and that wave is also increasing. I hear more and more of it. Just the other day, one of our client companies said, you do a lot of supplier audits for us, but we don't see a strategic value in it. I admit they don't see it, but that was the contract. So now we are working with them to find out how we can take all that data that we have collected and process it through our captive AI and give them strategic value. They have more than 1,200 suppliers. Very likely, we will be able to narrow it down to about 300 to 400. That was a rule of thumb that I offered to the vice president there, and he said, "How do you know that? I mean, you hardly know our company." I said, "Look, my friend, it is as simple as the Pareto rule, 80-20. Okay, 20% of your suppliers are going to add 80% of the value, or they are going to be 80% of the purchases that you do with. So we are going through all of that, and we are going to use AI to help them narrow that. So strategic value is what you want to keep in mind. I am already giving you some hints, which hopefully you will find useful. So what are some steps that we can take? So there are 12 steps I have put together. Going into very deep detail on each one of them is not going to be in the scope for today's session, but I'll at least run those by you and then you can build off of them. If you have questions, if you need some more tips or ideas, of course, you can get back to us and I'll be glad to work with you on that. Understand the people, their personalities, their preferences, and how you interact with them. When you become a quality auditor, when you are a quality professional, the attention to the people and the personalities aspect is almost completely bypassed. People are people. Everybody has their own personality. Some people are very dominating in nature. Some people want more data. Some people want to go to the nth degree of detail. DISC is a good model, DISC. Okay, D is for dominance, I is for influencing, S is for steadfastness, and C is for conscientiousness. You can look it up on the web, understand the DISC model, and try to work with your stakeholders using the DISC kind of approach in your mind. If you want to discuss more, I'll be happy to tell you how to do that. Strategically think ahead, looking at the business environment, what is happening on the competitive scene, what is happening to your product's price structure, what is the rate of decay of your product's price, what is the rate of obsolescence, what is the life of your product. If your product life is just about 2 years and it takes you like 9 months to get the product out because of various issues, and on top of that, if quality is acting as a brake, good luck. So be sensitive to all of that. So focus where the effort is needed and strategically think about what is happening in the marketplace. One of the reasons why quality professionals are let go early on when there is a business downturn, every time there is a business downturn, there are two departments that are typically hit first, HR and quality. Why is that? We need to become value-added partners, not brakes. We need to become value-added partners. And if we are aligned with the business, if we are aligned with the direction and we are a resource that they can rely upon for better results, they will not want to let us go. They will actually want to have us on their team, even when the business is turning down. Learn to understand the language of the business. The language of the business is money. So when we have financial illiteracy, we cannot convert our value into money, which makes a difference to the C-suite. So financial literacy is a very, very important skill that we need to develop. And it's not going to happen just by reading. You will need to rub shoulders with other functions in the company, particularly finance. Build relationships so that you can understand how their world works and then how you can take what you are doing and convert it into business value. Discuss with them. And then when you have meetings, you can present those things in the proper manner. Next, we have communication. Your written communication, verbal communication, and any other types of communication, they all make a difference. I'm not sure that you may be aware of this, but written communication is very, very deficient. Spoken is better because you can listen to the tone and understand it. Writing can be misinterpreted. only about 30-40% of the communication happens really from your intent to what the other person understands. Only 30 or 40% is conveyed in the written manner. Otherwise, it is the visuals, it is the tone of the voice. So leverage that understanding. So communication needs to, there are several C's in communication. The communication needs to be compact, it needs to be concise, it needs to be clear. So think about all the different C's that apply to communication and practice that. Some people say we don't need to know negotiating skills and selling skills. Well, you're selling yourself all the time. As a professional, you're selling your skills. As a professional, you're selling yourself. People want to use your services, but if you don't know how to sell, and don't take the selling in a negative manner. Usually, when you hear the term selling, negative things start coming in mind. Don't take it that way. What would make the other person use your service? Think about that. How can you deliver value to the other party? Think of that, to the stakeholder. So understand their language and talk in their language, understand their pain points, and then see if you can address those pain points. I've done all of this in my life. So, and finally, when there are contentious issues, negotiating skills begin coming into the picture. Manufacturing wants to release product, but you suspect that this product is going to be an issue. So you don't want to sign off on the product to be released. And I don't care whether it is a product or a service or whatever. At that point, your negotiating skills, using the DISC model, using other means to understand the pain points, and then being able to present your points in a very clear manner, and identifying the BATNAs, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So if you don't negotiated agreement, what are the likely outcomes? Without unnecessarily raising the sky is falling cries, can we sit down and do a conversation and understand the ramifications so that we are all in it together? Negotiate. Effective project management. You will be interested to make improvements. Can you manage those projects well? Do you have the right team? Can you work with the team? Can you support your team? You try to do everything yourself, it's not going to work. Or maybe you are a team member. How do you work out with the team? How do you work with the leaders? How do you work with the peers? So that becomes a very important function element, because now you are doing projects and the projects are going to come to a close. And at the end of the project, people will wonder, okay, this project did not work well. Who was on the team? This project worked well. Who was on the team? So where do you want to be? And what kind of a role do you want to play? Be process and risk oriented. 9001 keeps talking about being process focused or process oriented. Take a process approach and use a risk based approach. So that we need to start doing ourselves. The risk of not signing a document. What is in the document that is offending you, that you are not willing to sign and let go? If that is going to hold up a major product launch, believe me, you will be in the radar of many people in the company, and they will be asking, why is this getting held up? Is there a risk to the user? Is there a risk to the community? Is there a risk to us? Every day's delay costs the company something. Be sensitive to that, understand it. Of course, if there is a serious issue, you do need to raise your voice and hold things. Don't get me wrong. But nitpicking really doesn't help. One of the auditors who used to nitpick, our registration got delayed by several weeks. And we lost a customer because the customer was wanting to see the ISO 13485 certificate in my company. Now, this is a company we started. And that nitpicking, we explained to the auditor the reasons why you are holding things up is really not substantial. It has nothing to do with the quality of the product. It's a documentation issue. Anyway, it's a long dialogue. I won't go there. Okay, there will be bias in the workplace. The bias is already there. The bias is against you in the sense that as quality professionals, you don't understand the business perspective and you can't look at the bigger picture. So be sensitive to that. They are coming to you with that bias. And on top of that, everybody has their ego. So be careful, watch that, and use again, the people, the personalities, proper communication to deal with the bias and the egos that you will come across in your workspace. When you look at the org chart, the CEO, depending on the nature of the organization, some organizations have the customer at the top and the CEO at the bottom. Others actually have the CEO on the top and the customer at the bottom, regardless. But there are many white spaces there. So the lines on the org chart actually tell you the concrete reporting relationships. But it doesn't tell you where are the influencing relationships. Which function, which executive, which senior manager has what kind of influence? Many times, the first line supervisors and their manager have more influence than even some directors and VPs. So understand that white space, what is going on in the organization. Be street smart. MBA is not going to teach you all of this. Be street smart. In the white space, you will need to kind of work with the organization to figure out who has what kind of influence, because then you need to get their ear to get your message across if you are not being heard. So understand the white space in the organization. Don't fight AI, embrace it, learn it, master it. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to become a coder or a programmer. That's not what I'm saying. But there are so many things you can do without getting deeply technical about AI. You drive your car today just with the accelerator and the brake. There used to be a time not too long ago when you had to adjust the choke, you had to adjust the advanced retard for the ignition. There were so many switches and buttons that you have to manipulate to get a car started. You don't have to do any of that anymore. Just like that, you should be able to use AI to your advantage. If you don't learn it, you're not going to get it. So understand, learn, and leverage AI in your work. Don't fight it. It's coming. It's here in many cases. And then master the art of storytelling. You think people make data-driven decisions? You are wrong. They use data to justify what is in their mind many times. And what is in their mind, you can help change using a proper narrative, using a proper story. Learn that art. And you know who I'm learning it from now? I'm learning it from my granddaughter. She's 4 years old. When I tell her a nice story, it has an immediate impact. And when I tell a nice story in the executive suite or when I'm giving a keynote speech, it has a tremendous impact. I can show all tables and everything, all the graphs and tables. Yeah, they have an impact, but the story touches the heart. You have to think about the mind and the heart of your stakeholders. The stories are important. Learn the art of storytelling. Let's take a look at what are the top 5 conversations that you need to have. There is more than 5, but here are the top 5 that I have seen in the recent past. And of course, I've been doing it for quite some time. AI disruption and ethical integration. These are the recent top 5. This is at the mind of most executives. How is AI going to impact my work? Will I have to lay off people? I don't want to lay off people. How will I restructure? How will I reskill my workforce? In what ways can my competition use AI and disrupt my work? See, if you become AI literate and if you become financially literate, you can help your senior leadership tackle some of these questions. Talent retention and workforce transformation. So hybrid work is here to stay, no matter what other CEOs say. They say, oh, come back to work, return to office, RTO, whatever. It's not going to happen lock, stock, and barrel. It will happen some, don't get me wrong, but remote work is here to stay. Now, that creates a lot of opportunities and it creates a lot of challenges, as most of you have seen it. So it is going to reshape the workforce dynamics, and upskilling coupled with that has to be done. Now, some of the upskilling can happen remotely. Some of the upskilling will have to happen on a face-to-face basis with your mentors and instructors and so on. But the talent retention is at the top of mind for many executives. Because on top of it, because of AI is pushing those changes our way. Economic uncertainty and customer retention. Especially in customer retention, you can play a big role, particularly if you are dealing with the customer and you are present in that meeting. You can bring your points across as to how your products, from a quality standpoint and total cost of ownership standpoint, how they impact the customer. And if you have data from the competition, you can weave that into the story. But for that, you'll have to do some more legwork to find out what is happening in your ecosphere in which your company operates. And economic uncertainty will always be there. It's much more now because we have so many changes coming up, the tariffs and the new duties and the new suppliers and the shifting of the supply chain. So there is a lot of uncertainty. Can you help the company wade through all of that? How difficult is your supplier selection process? How do you go about finding out strong, reliable suppliers? And then how do you map out the supply chain so that the products and services that come to your company and then flow through your company all the way to the customer, that is the whole supply chain. How is the whole supply chain managed from a escape standpoint, defect escape standpoint, from a quality risk standpoint, from a compliance risk standpoint? You can be an instrumental part. And when you do that, you reduce the impact of economic uncertainty and the other uncertainties that are knocking our door. Cybersecurity and data integrity are also at the top of the mind for many executives at this time. Will my website be hacked? Will my payment system be hacked? Will we lose sensitive customer information? So if you are a 27,001 auditor, you could play a big role there. If not, at least you can study up on what it takes to bone up on cybersecurity. Don't rely completely on one or two other resources who will help you with cybersecurity. This is a very, very big field. So take your time, invest your time in learning about what you can do from a cybersecurity standpoint. One of the simplest things to do is to have better passwords and two-factor authentication, just to give you an idea. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen the passwords are so silly. People could have guessed it very, very easily. Anyway, and then we have data integrity. Data integrity by itself is a massive subject. And as I speak to different people, and they tell me that they are using data to drive their decisions, my first question is, how do you know that the data is trustworthy? See, we go from data to converting that to information, and that takes some processing. From information, we develop knowledge, and that knowledge is used to make some decisions, and those decisions drive actions. So if you understand this chain, and look at the opportunities where you can play a role in making sure that the data integrity is there, the process to convert the data into information is good. It's going to give you reliable answers. So validate that conversion process. Okay, so now you have information, check the integrity of the information, do some validation checks there, and from that, it becomes knowledge. So at each point, there are errors that can happen, and you can play a big role in that. But you'll have to spend some time boning up on those skills if you haven't done that already. And then regulatory complexity and reputation management. They are the other things that are on top of the attention list for executives. So take some time to understand those things, map it out, see where you fit in, see where you can make a difference. Yeah, I know you have your daily jobs, don't get me wrong. We all have our daily jobs. But pick one or two of these, or three if you can, pick at least one or two. Learn the language of the business, learn the language of the stakeholder associated with the one that you pick, and then become specialized in it. Doing this will actually put you miles ahead of your low-cost competition that is coming to you. It will also endear you to the senior leadership. The low-cost auditors are not the problem. The low-impact auditors are. So think in terms of impact. Whatever work you are doing, what is the impact of that? See, the road forward has lots of turns coming at us. Not only that, on top of that, you have got wind gusts which will throw you off. The road is slippery also. So there are multiple forces pushing our careers, pushing, pulling, tugging our careers in different directions. So we have to become more and more street smart as we go. Develop business acumen, or you will continue to stay invisible. If you are invisible, your value added is not seen. Your value added is not seen. Guess what? When the business downturn happens, you know where I'm going with that. I don't need to elaborate that anymore. So, business acumen and being able to speak the language of your stakeholders, extremely critical. The AI wave is coming. Some of it is already here. The choice is yours. You can learn to surf, which is what we are doing in our company. I am doing it myself. I'd never imagined that I'll have to go back and upskill myself in this manner, but I'm doing it. I urge you to do the same thing. Learn to surf or get ready to sink. Let me express my word of thanks to all the people who have contributed. Vincent Cafiso contributed to this. His point was engage with products and create inventions if possible, because that is a ticket for you either to start on your own or you can endear yourself to the new product process. Anybody in the pipeline for new product process, companies have a hard time letting them go. And when I say products, it can be products or services. Sunny Gill told me that you need to have a plan and you need to execute it well. Santosh Bhagat, another auditor. Every one of these people is an auditor. Vincent Cafiso is an ex-FDA professional, by the way. Santosh Bhagat said, be careful with what you buy. Will it appreciate or will it depreciate? He was coming at it from a financial angle. We buy a ton of stuff. Question number one, is it really necessary? Question number two, how will it fare over time? What is the total cost of ownership? So is it going to be an appreciating asset or is it going to be a depreciating asset? He was talking about it from a financial standpoint. Lee Nguyen, he used to be a technician. I know him personally. I know every one of these people personally. Lee Nguyen says, get a mentor, and not one. If you can get more than one mentor, because each mentor may have their field of specialization, do it. Don't hesitate. And Andrew Davison, he is the main guy for the ASQ audit conference. He held that conference very recently. I was participating in it. He says, keep learning regularly and start saving early. So these are this is the words of wisdom that I got from several people that I have interviewed. There is a long list, but I'm just showing you the 5 which are most relevant to our profession and where we stand today. I hope this was of value to you. If you have questions, please do send those to us. And here is a little bit about my background. I came to the US in 1981. 1967 is when I lost my dad. It has been a very, very challenging journey all the way through, but it made me into a stronger professional, and I can deal with a lot more ups and downs than most people will. Anyway, so at your convenience, you can take a look at this. Since 2009, I've been more or less financially independent, but I work because I thoroughly enjoy what I do and I want to support our community. You can also reach me if you like. There is my contact information. And at this point, I'd like to close by expressing a word of thanks thanks to Exemplar Global, and thanks to you, Mike, for giving me the opportunity to participate. Hope this was of good value to you. I'll see you next time.
Ray, thank you. That was a great presentation. I found it very valuable. Listen to every word that you had there, and I think there's a lot of value to be had. So thank you for doing that, giving us
Sure.
a great insight into business acumen. It's an important topic for people in the conformity assessment field to know about. As Ray mentioned, just a slide before slide or two before, you can email Ray directly if you have any questions. You can email us at info@exemplarglobal.org. If you have questions that you'd like us to ask of Ray about this presentation or anything else, just write us there at info@exemplarglobal.org, And as you can see on your screen there, you can also, of course, claim your CPD for this session and all the sessions we have available for you here at this year's Expo. So thanks again to you all for being there. Ray, thanks again for a great presentation. And we'll see you next time in the next session here at the Expo. So long.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Our pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.